What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger of a video, the Hotel Series Part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, if you guys want to get your hands on the most covert way to smoke, look no further than the Glebe, the secret bong in a shaker cup. It is a gravity bong that will get you higher than you can imagine. Look no further, baby. Pretend you're going to the gym. Get pulled over. It don't even look like a bong. No problem, baby. They brought this bitch on an airplane, no concern at all. Very easy, dude. Covert, great way to smoke. For all you people out there who got to hide the fact that you smoke, this is the way to do it. Use code GOBLIN at checkout for a nice little discount. Links in the description. Thank you all for purchasing the Glebe in advance. It's a great product, man. I love to promote it. But either way, ladies and gents, let's dive right into it. So, we left off in the last episode of the Hotel series, and for those of you who haven't seen episode 1 and might not be familiar with what I'm referring to, I'll link that in the description for you guys to go back and watch, because it's been like 3 weeks since this series has received an episode, right? But nevertheless, I'd just gotten situated in this hotel, and I ended up living in this hotel room for like over 2 weeks, dude, because I had nowhere else to go. I was kicked out, right? So the first night I get settled in, and nothing really happens, right? The second night is when things get crazy. You know, Kevin came over on the first night, and we tried to invite people over, but nothing really went down. The second night is where things get interesting. So I hit up my classic friend, Alexis. I hope you guys didn't just hear the window sound come out of my PC, but if you did, I'm sorry. And Alexis is a friend who was around in a lot of my stories, and for those of you guys who watched the Cocaine Chronicles series, she was actually the girl who gave me the Coke plug that I still have to this day. And I don't do Coke to this day, but like he still sells it. I see this guy on Snapchat all the time. But nevertheless, I hit her up and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to come through and smoke? And she's like, oh, yeah, sure. I got some special shit. You know, I think we should throw on some Coke. I got a little bit if you want to try it. And I'm like, bet. And she's like, oh, I'm with my friend. Can she come with too? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, that sounds great, right? I'm thinking, hey, maybe a pretty lady, dude. Who knows? This could turn into a very good scenario. So, you know, I go ahead, hop right in the shower as soon as she says she's going to slide. You know, I get ready. I look through my suitcase to try to find, like, the nicest clothes that I packed. You know, I throw on, like, a polo and some other, like, jank shit, dude. I just try to throw together nice. I was like, you know what? I'm going to look fly today. I'm going to look dapper. There could be an attractive woman coming to my hotel room. And you know what? I can't make it look like I live here. Because if it looks like I live here, she's not going to want to bang me. Because women, I don't think they like guys who live in hotels. I don't know, dude. Something tells me that's not really that attractive. So either way, I'm cleaning up and shit. Even though it was only my like second day there, I'm still like cleaning up the little mess I had made. You know, getting all tidy and shit. And you know, finally, I get hit up, and she tells me that she's here with her friend, right? Her friend we're going to call, oh, man. What name did I even give her? I think I said Alexis in the beginning. I hope I fucking said Alexis. If I didn't say Alexis, I just took a dab, and I'm really stoned. So we're just going to go with Alexis. But Alexis and her friend, who we're going to call Stephanie, arrive at my hotel eventually. They're like, yo, what room are you in? I give them my room number. They pull up, come through, you know, and I give Alexis a hug. Me and her, we've been friends for a very long time. It's not very weird for us to smoke together. You know, we've been friends for a very long time. So no problem her coming through. Her friend Stephanie walks in the door. I've never seen this girl before. Like, I don't know. Listen, Alexis would always have like really random female friends. She's a good girl to be friends with because she either had really hot friends or like really unattractive friends, and she would have no problem like wingmanning with you. So like, she was a good friend to keep around. So in this particular instance, she brought a girl who was not, I mean, man, listen, not quite the character I wanted. This girl was a mid-goddess, if you will. She comes through. And, you know, the first thing she says after she introduces herself to me, you know, I kind of dap her up and everything, get situated. She's like, oh, I got some gas. And I had a bunch of weed too. So I was like, oh, dope. Let's match. She's like, oh, this is that North Side pack. And if this sounds familiar, I've talked about this in another video, but not to this extent. I've like touched on this scenario in a past like Q&A. So if that little phrase sounded familiar, you're an OG if you remember hearing that. But either way, she's like, "Oh, I got that North Side pack," and I'm like, "Oh shit, dude, like, fuck, man." So You know, she pulls it out, and man, let me tell you, popcorn nugs is like glorifying it. Like if I were to say it was popcorn nugs, that's generous. It was like little pellets of mid, like this like dark green gross diarrhea colored weed, like it just disgusting bud. And she opens up the bag, and I take a little whiff of it, and she only has like 2 grams, bro. She didn't bring that much. I had a lot of weed. She didn't have a lot of weed. She only has like 2 grams. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, you roll blunt, I'll roll blunt. We'll consider that our match, right? Because I didn't want to mix my weed with hers, because my weed was good and hers wasn't. So we do our separate things with the blunt. And once again, she not only talks up her weed, she talks up her blunt. She's like, man, I roll the best blunts. We're sitting here rolling. I finished mine pretty quick. Like, listen, I consider myself a pretty good blunt roller. Most of my friends also consider me a good blunt roller. Typically, if Cody's not around, I'm the one who is rolling up the blunts, right? Cody's my friend who is the top-end blunt roller. For those of you guys who don't tune into my streams, you might not know who that is, but he's Chris in my stories. But that's his real name is Cody. But nevertheless, either way, back on topic here. She's talking up this blunt. I finished rolling like 10 minutes before her, and she's taking forever. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be a long night. And finally, Kevin hits me up. You know, I say finally because I needed someone to hit me up, dude. I needed someone to come make this scenario a little more entertaining. And Kevin finally hits me up. And he's like, hey, baby, what you doing? Not literally, not hey, baby, but you know what I mean? He's like, hey, baby, what you doing? You know, not like a romantic baby, but, you know, mainly, hey, baby, you know, what's going on? What's cracking? And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm in the hotel room. We got some ladies here. We got some biddies here, if you will. He's like, hey, I'll come through, dude. No problem. So he comes through. I'm like, yes. And before he gets there, we start smoking these blunts. My blunt, of course, is great. And Alexis keeps commenting on it. She's like, oh, you know, that's really good weed. Where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh, just got it off my guy. You know, got it off my dude. Don't worry about it. And, you know, then, of course, her friend Stephanie is like, hey, this weed I got is just amazing. You're about to be floored off this pack. And I already know that's not true. And I looked at Alexis, and she shot me this look and kind of like smiled. And I knew that she knew too, that this girl was capping. And later we talked about it. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry. She's kind of like that. But it got worse throughout the night. But we smoked both these blunts. Her weed is shit. My weed is great. Kevin gets there. Once Kevin gets there, we're kind of bored and trying to decide what to do. And these ladies are trying to drink. Now, I wasn't necessarily trying to drink, and I knew that Alexis had a plug for Coke. Now, this happened well before the Coke Chronicles, and this was a different plug than I went with for my Coke Chronicles. She always had plugs for a lot of drugs. So I knew she had a plug for Coke at this point. She was like fucking around with some Coke dealer. So I was like, hey, you should hit up your mans and tell him we need some Coke. And she's like, oh, hell yeah, you know, for sure. How much do you want? I'm like, give me some prices. So she hits him up. We get the prices ran back. I don't remember exactly what we paid, but I remember I was pretty happy with him. So I'm like, yeah, dude, let me get like 2 grams. So Kevin throws in a little with me. Alexis throws in a little. And I think the other chick, I think Stephanie might have even thrown in like $10, which I don't know if I'm going to count that. But, I mean, out of 2 grams, that's, hey, I guess every penny counts, you know? But either way, we all pull our money together and we get this Coke, right? He luckily do deliver, so we only had to run out to the parking lot. It was very convenient. But we get this Coke. I run back up to the hotel room after grabbing it, right? Me and Alexis went down together to grab it. Come back up. And Kevin and Stephanie are already arguing about some shit. Because I guess she was trying to talk up the weed to Kevin. And Kevin is not the kind of guy where he's going to, like, be polite about something. Like, if you say something that's not true in front of Kevin, he's just gonna say it how it is. So she says, oh, I got this no side pack, this is gas. And I this is what she allegedly said. Kevin had informed me. And by the time I come back in, I just hear Kevin go, this is fucking swag. As soon as he said that, I was like, oh, here we fucking go, dude. Here we fucking go. So they're arguing, and cocaine is about to get into the mix. They already don't like each other. I don't like this chick, and Alexis is trying to keep the cool. So Alexis is like, guys, shut the fuck up. Let's do some cocaine. And I'm like, yes, this is why we're friends. Let's do some coke, right? So we all gather around the little desk in this hotel room, and I start chopping up the lines. She hands me the bag. She's like, "You do the honors. It's your Coke mainly," because I threw the most. So I'm like, "Bet." We weren't breaking it up and like scaling it out to break it off to each other. We all knew that we were committed to blowing all this shit tonight, right? And 2 grams on foreheads in a night, that's not the craziest thing in the world. That can be done. So either way, we kind of get right to it. We start chopping up these lines, and I think each of us did like 2 lines of it just to test it out. And it wasn't quite as good as the Coke I was doing through Coke Chronicles, but it was good, and I was satisfied. I was geeked, and this was at a point where I wasn't doing Coke like that, so it hit me even harder. Same with Kevin. He got geeked as fuck. Same with Alexis. Same with Stephanie. Everyone got geeked. And that surprisingly kind of calmed down the argument between everybody. Everyone kind of chilled out, and I just started doing a fuckload of blow. Me and Alexis in particular went like Rambo on this cocaine. Kevin and Stephanie calmed down for a little bit while me and Alexis were like shotgunning these lines. Not shotgunning. Dude, machine gun. Well, just rapid fire, dude. Just SMG, dude. Fucking UMP from MW2 speed, dude. Very quick. All right, very fast, just railing these fucking lions, dude. And we were getting geeked. And I remember at one point we went over to. I'm sitting like on the bed, and she's sitting over by the window, like in a chair, right? And she's like, "Yo, I'm literally sweating," and I'm sweating too. And I'm like, "What is the air on?" And we had the air down to like 68 degrees in this room, and we're dripping in fucking sweat. And Kevin finds it funny. Kevin's just laughing, and Stephanie eventually just shut up and went on her phone for a while. She stopped talking. I don't know. Listen. She was a party pooper, dude. She came through, talked up her weed the whole time. It ended up being mid, argued with my buddy, did a little bit of coke that she threw for it, then just sat on her phone. It was a very party pooper kind of thing. So it was more like me, Alexis, and Kevin trying to have a good time with like this just like person in the corner. And it was not an ideal scenario, but we made the best of it. We're doing coke throughout the night. And we decide, hey, we need to make a fucking blunt run and a food run. And there's this 7-Eleven right across the street. So we walk out of this hotel room, and there's this big like 6-lane main road that we have to cross. So we sprint across this fucking road, get in the 7-Eleven. And we get in there, and I realize like right after walking in there that like snacks and drinks and food sounded good in my head, but realistically I just had no interest because I was geeked as fuck. The only thing I wanted was blunts and cigarettes, and of course none of us were old enough. But luckily Alexis happened to have a fake for some reason, which she never had a fake. So I don't even know whose ID she used, but she grabbed the shit. And it worked, I guess. Or maybe it just didn't card her. I don't fucking know. But it worked. While the rest of us were just kind of looking around the store, buying various items, trying to blow time to look like we weren't with the only girl buying alcohol, who was obviously the only chick who had a fake in our group. But either way, we grabbed this or not buying alcohol, but buying tobacco and shit like that, and I don't know why I said alcohol, dude. I'm fucking stoned. But either way, She grabs the blunts and the goodies, and we finally dip out and get back to the hotel room, right? We keep rolling up some more blunts, and Stephanie offers to throw some weed, and I'm just not interested, bro. I literally said to her, I'm like, no. Like, I just don't want to smoke your weed. And this started a little debate. She's like, "Man, I live in a trap house." She literally said this as if this is like a good thing. She's like, "Man, I live in a trap house. This is good weed." And I'm like... being homeless is not, like, that doesn't mean your weed is good. Like, I don't know why you told me that. You just really made me want to kick you out of my hotel room, because now I feel like I'm just bumming you a bed. So you got to get the fuck out, because she might, like, doze off and, like, use this time to sleep since she sleeps in a trap house normally, And I'm not here for her to utilize me like that. So get the fuck out of my hotel room, That's some bullshit. But we're kind of arguing about it, and Kevin gets involved, and he's like, "Yeah, there's some swag." And Alexis, listen, Alexis isn't taking either side, but she's just trying to calm her friend down. So she's like, "Stephanie, quiet the fuck down. It's late at night. Like, there's people next to us in these rooms. Like, shut the fuck up." She had a valid point, because this girl was loud, dude. This chick would just raise her voice and not turn it back down. It was fucked up. But either way, we go throughout the night doing coke, and everybody spends the night literally until the sun rose the next day, and nobody went home until like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. I remember Alexis and Stephanie got an Uber out of there. Kevin stayed a little longer, and we finished up the remnants of the Coke that was left. And then I dapped up Kevin. He was like, dude, I got to go home and try to go to bed at some point today. And I did the same. I ended up going to bed. And this was leading up to the NBA Finals. I remember this very vividly because in the next episode, I invite like 10 people over to watch the NBA Finals. And that is when shit gets fucked up because there's 10 people in a hotel room that is meant for 2. So it gets ugly really fast. But either way, we'll talk about that next time because this is getting long. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you guys don't miss my streams and future uploads. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.